The Sonoran Desert is home to the unique saguaro cactus, a perfect analogy for optimizing a building enclosure. Saguaro cacti are airtight, vapor variable, high thermal mass, and well ventilated. High performance building provides the greatest benefit in extreme climate zones, yet we rarely talk about best practices for the hot, dry Southwest. Today I share the first smart enclosure system project in Arizona, a shining example of leadership and collaboration. The builder, Andrew Tuttle of Beckett Construction, provided a lot of these photos along with the project consultant, Austin Troutman of Vali Homes. The architect designed a gorgeous building and the client pushed hard for healthy, low-carbon, high performance. It's important to love your materials. You can see Austin, a Northwest-born, true-blooded tree hugger, giving a pallet of Gutex some love. Austin also captured a photo of me smiling at a pallet of Gutex. It was cathartic to see thousands of pounds of carbon that will be stored in these boards up front for the duration of this project. Beyond using good materials, the key to a truly good project anywhere is a passionate and well-trained crew. It was a lot of fun working with the construction team who had never seen these materials before and helping them move from skeptical to stoked. They kept calling Gutex the weird foam board, but eventually settled on the awesome wood board. The first step in any efficient install is to move the materials to the installation location and then set up a production station. You also want to make sure you look cool while you're doing it. Part of what won over the crew is that Gutex, being made of wood, can be cut easily into almost any shape with standard carpentry tools. Once you get set up, the installation goes really fast. No, this photo is far before coronavirus is a thing, so the carpenter is wearing a mask to protect himself from dust. While Gutex is Nature Plus certified and Red List free, it still isn't ideal to breathe sawdust, so it is smart to wear some breathing protection. One quick thing, the install team got a little overexcited about fastening approach and set way too many staples. I'll discuss that later. Once the building is wrapped, you want to cut the Gutex flush with the sheathing. You also want to make sure the Gutex is properly fastened, especially the thinner pieces around locations like rough openings. It's a lot of fun to do this, and it's a great opportunity to show off your dad bod. Once the Gutex is properly clicked together and fastened to the sheathing, it is time to wrap with the Pro Clima Solatex Mento 1000 membrane. Placing an airtight WRB over the Gutex provides an extra degree of drying potential and airtightness while minimizing wetting, especially during construction. It also allows different ventilated siding approaches to be utilized. Maybe most importantly, it makes window details a lot easier. I just love this photo. It's the backside of the Mento 1000 membrane wrapped over the rough opening around sunset. You can see the edges of Gutex on the outside of the rough opening there. And yeah, it's ready to take it to the next step. Once you're done wrapping, it's time to start taping all the seams of the membrane with the blue Tesconvana tape. It is also time to cut out the rough openings and begin the first phase of a proper window install. That's rough opening preparation. The rough opening should be airtight, waterproof, and mostly vapor open. It's important to look like a German gentleman polishing their Porsche as you prepare the rough opening. First, you start by wrapping in the flaps of the Mento 1000 and stapling in place, like they showed on the last photo, and then you install the Ex-to-Seal Encore's windowsill tape, as you see me doing, and the 6-inch wide blue Tesconvana 150 on the header and legs. Voila! When you're done, all of the wood will be covered in waterproof airtightness. The Ex-to-Seal Encores on the sill is self-sealing and vapor closed, but everything else is vapor open. We assume things will get wet, and while we can minimize wetting, we must also maximize drying potential, even in doggy doors like you see in the bottom right-hand corner. Don't forget the details. The EPDM Rowflex and Caflex gaskets make plumbing and electrical air sealing and waterproofing simple and reliable. The owner of the construction company did these gaskets himself since he found it super satisfying to fix a leakage issue he hated for years. Nice work there, Andrew. Speaking of details, how are you going to ventilate between your cladding and WRB? Is there a mix of cladding, including some stucco? Well, these angled battens are the perfect approach for a single layer thickness and vertical siding, which was needed to match some areas of stucco. Plus, honestly, I just think they look really cool. And as you can see on the left, the vertical siding looks great. It is also needed to match the thickness of the stucco finish in other areas that you can see on the right. The stucco finish was installed on a ventilated stucco mesh, in this case rain slicker, which was installed over the Mento 1000 using those same 2-inch staples that were used to attach the Gutex. Moving to the interior details, you can see some of the rain slicker stucco mesh hanging over the Alpine window. You can also see puffs of Havelock loose fill insulation at the top of the photo. To me, this is the killer app of wool insulation since it provides an amazing R value along with optimized moisture control. It also helps reduce toxicity in the building. Actually kind of a lot of fun to do this detail too. And sequencing. The key to making high performance profitable and cost effective, which is arguably then the key to saving the world. What you're seeing here are strips of IntelliX that were installed over the top plates of interior and exterior walls so that Intello Plus in the ceiling would be much faster down the line. This is what you want a successful install to look like. Completely continuous. Yes, the seams have not been taped yet, but that is the next step for continuity. It was estimated that the IntelliX floppy bits you saw in the previous photo saved about a day of labor and led to a much more complete, continuous, airtight, and smart vapor control install. The issue I mentioned earlier about too many 2-inch staples, this is a great way to show it. This is a small staple gun and a decently big thermal impact. Not a huge deal, maybe like a 10-15% decrease in overall thermal performance. You know, building's still going to be super comfortable and high performance, but it's something I'd change for the next install. This project was a wonderful example of leadership, maximizing performance and minimizing carbon impact. It had its share of challenging aesthetic details, but they're all wrapped in carbon storing Gutex, and they're all part of what keeps this job interesting. Lastly, here's a photo of my family enjoying the desert. They are the core of why I want to save this planet and why I keep doing this work. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day.